Blueprints is an RPG. I said it. You might be wondering how a game about opening doors in a giant mansion like you're a kid trying to escape a certain Michael Jackson's house could possibly be an RPG, but hear me out on this one, because once you strip away the haunted mansion aesthetic, the creepy corridors, and the nagging feeling that at any moment you might hear a faint whisper of the King of Pop himself echoing through the walls, what you're left with is a game that's not just about fighting this Room 46, it's about role-playing the most universal character there is, yourself, stumbling through failure after failure until you finally figure things out. Kind of like the hit Michael Jackson song Bad, but instead of being bad in a cool way, you're just very, very bad at choosing the right door. For those who haven't played it, look, here's the gist. In Blueprints, you're inside this endless shifting mansion and your goal is very simple. You just reach Room 46. That's it. But every step you take adds up because each room costs a step or two, sometimes even more than that. Some rooms are empty, some give you items, some have weird cool puzzles and bizarre furniture that looks like it belongs straight in Neverland Ranch, and somewhere deep in there's a mystery about why this mansion exists at all. But the mechanics of the game are, well, simple. They're elegant, they're profound, kinda like real life. Because life, look, much like in Blueprints, which by the way is a play on the word blueprint, which I don't know if you knew that, but if you didn't know that before this moment, subscribe. Look, what I'm trying to say is Blueprints isn't about knowing exactly which door leads to success. It's about opening the wrong ones over and over again, picking up scraps of knowledge at every turn, maybe stashing an item or two for later and then trying again. That's the loop, that's the core of this game. And that's what makes Blueprints so quietly brilliant, because it turns failure into progression and lessons. Now at first you fumble through randomly, hoping to get lucky with the rooms you get given. You might at first be going on these runs where you feel like you're more focused on collecting as many items as possible. Kind of like the hit Michael Jackson song, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. But instead, you should actually stop, because greed is the devil in this game. Because as fast as you can collect these items, you can also lose them just like that. And this is where the game is, well, harsh for a lot of people, for a lack of better word, as the rooms are random after all. So you might just get red room after red room after
red rum, red rum, red rum,
which then makes you feel like the whole run was useless in a sense. And I don't blame you for getting mad at the game and the gods of RNG for it, broski. But let me paint you a picture, and I said a lot of peace. Looking at this through another lens, if you will. Isn't that exactly like real life? I mean, we mess up, we fall short, but every failure ultimately leaves us with at least something. An experience, a lesson, maybe even a stash of resources we can use when we try again. These so-called failures, yes, they make us feel shit in that moment, but ultimately they help us shape the person that is made to succeed. I also have to pause on that, because by succeed, I mean success, not suck. God damn it. I made that joke. Look, what I'm trying to say here in a weird way is that the mansion is harsh, but it's not cruel. It wants you to fail, yes, but it's also quietly cheering you on in the background. Because as with real life, the more you play, the more you unlock ways to make subsequent runs easier. All of a sudden, rooms might give you more keys. You get to start the day off with more steps and things like that. Little advantages that make you feel like maybe, just maybe, you're not as hopeless as when you first walked in. In all of this hopelessness that the mansion throws at you at times, there's also this constant, sometimes unexplainable feeling of progression. Kind of like the Michael Jackson song His Story or History, depending on how you want to say it. Look, it's like there's hope in all of the struggles and the challenges that we face IRL. This is where Blueprints transcends its simple mechanics. It's not just a game about spatial puzzles and random rooms. It's about the role you're playing. Someone who fails, someone who learns, who gets back up and goes again. Each failed run isn't a dead end. It's another step in your journey. The mansion doesn't reset your progress. It evolves with you, because the real trick is realizing that success in Blueprints isn't about the one perfect run where you get everything right. It's about the cumulative cumulative weight of all of your failures, stacking up until they form a ladder that you can finally climb. And broski, if that isn't the most relatable thing ever, I really don't know what is. I mean, how many times in real life do we think this is it, I've got it this time, only to hit a freaking dead end? And yet those dead ends aren't wasted. They're shaping the path forward. They're the necessary steps you kind of have to take to get to your ultimate goal, which is, well, room 46, of course. I wonder what the equivalent of room 46 is in real life. Is it money? Is it fame? Perhaps it's a 1998 R34 Nissan Skyline in gray with blue stripes on. And that's why I say Blueprints is an RPG. Not because you're leveling up stats for a specific build you want to play or choosing dialogue options that affect some random storyline, but because you're role-playing yourself at your most human. Confused, hopeful, failing, but ultimately adapting. Every decision you make in the mansion reflects a decision you've made in real life in a weird, twisted way. Do you play it safe and take the rooms you already know of, or do you risk it all to push deeper, even if it might ultimately cost you that specific run? Do you stash your treasures for later or blow through them now, hoping for a breakthrough in later rooms you draft? Look, failure in Blueprints isn't punishment. It's the medium. It's the brush you kind of use to paint what ultimately will be your canvas of success. And the game knows this oh so well. That's why it lets you store items, it lets you upgrade rooms, and slowly but surely turn the mansion from an enemy into an ally. Kinda like the hit Michael Jackson song Man in the Mirror. You start to realize that change isn't out there, it's in how you approach the game. And it's funny because at first look, Blueprints feels like this mysterious, almost cruel challenge. Like the mansion is out to get you, and I'll be very honest. But over time, you start seeing its generosity. The way it gives you those bedrooms or dining rooms right when you need them the most. The lucky windfalls that feel like they're encouraging you to keep going. That's not unlike life either, where even when everything feels stacked against you, little moments of grace appear. It might be an opportunity, a helping hand, a win that reminds you that you're not doomed to fail forever, my bro Chacho. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. It just depends on which way you're looking. And maybe that's why I find Blueprints to be oh so profound, because it captures that dance between struggle and progress better than a lot of games out there. It doesn't hand you victory, it makes you earn it through repetition, through learning, through embracing failures as part of the process. It's not about getting it right the first time. It's about building up so much experience that even your failures become stepping stones on your road to greatness. So yeah, Blueprints is an RPG, and that's a fact. Not because of swords and spells, but because it casts you in the role of the ultimate protagonist, the person who fails forward, the person who keeps opening doors even when every instinct says to give up already. Kinda like the hit Michael Jackson song Beat It, except instead of running away, you stand your ground this time and try again. Freaking again. So many freaking tries. And when you finally reach room 46, after all the missteps, the wasted runs, the nights you swore to yourself and the gods that you'll never play this game again, you make it, and it hits differently. Not because you got lucky, but because despite the numerous amounts of failure you encountered, you still kept going. Because you knew that, as in real life, it's not about how many times we get knocked down. It's about that other thing that Alfred told Bruce Wayne when he fell into that thing through the planks in the movie, you know? And that to me is the profound beauty of Blueprints. So go on, my broski, open a door, moonwalk straight through that shit. Just don't stop till you get enough. Ultimately, what the f do I know, man? I'm just a gamer on the internet who found Blueprints to be oh so profoundly beautiful in the psychology behind it. I know my thoughts on the game, but I'd love to hear yours in the comments down below. Do you think Blueprints is a good game? Does it have this weird psychological depth to it, if you really think about it? Look, maybe it hit me so deep because I've been watching this channel on YouTube. Look, shout out to Profound Pondering. This guy, he just makes me wonder things in the most profound ways. It makes me ponder. Pun intended. But in any case, if you made it to this part of the video, man, you might as well subscribe to the channel Lozos, man. We made it this far together through all of these doors of failure and success. So profound. I love it. Look, if you want to watch me talk about Last Epoch, then click this link to watch that video next, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you have a great day wherever you're from, whichever time of day you watch this at. I've been your broski, so keep on trucking my dudes, and I'll see you in the next upload. A peace out.